Smoothie Bees! It is finally September and I am so excited for fall. I know every time September comes around, I just crave those fall flavors, especially pumpkin spice. So today I'm going to share with you 3 pumpkin spice breakfast recipes that will keep you going all through winter. If you guys love pumpkin spice or are super excited for fall, please give this video a big thumbs up and please don't forget to subscribe below, and we'll go ahead and get started with our first recipe, which is a pumpkin spice granola. Alright, so first I'm going to start with all of my wet ingredients and just combine them into a mixing bowl. Here I have half a cup of pumpkin puree. Just add that to the bowl. Then I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of maple syrup just to sweeten it up. And then a 1/4 cup of coconut oil. This will help toast up the oats and all the nuts. Now that I have all the wet ingredients in the bowl, I'm going to add my spices. Here I have my pumpkin spice. I have about 1 tablespoon of pumpkin spice mix. You can buy this at any grocery stores. Trader Joe's actually has a really good one, and it's like $1.99. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, just to give it some balance. Now I'm just gonna mix it all together. Mix, mix, mix. This looks really good. And the pumpkin puree here is gonna infuse in so much flavor. Okay, this looks good, and now I'm just gonna dump in all of my dry ingredients. Of course, I'm going to start with my oats. I'm using rolled oats here because it has like a firmer structure, and if you use like quick oats, it's too small and it's going to absorb all the liquid too quickly and it's not going to toast up. So rolled oats is actually perfect for this recipe. Here I have 2½ cups and I'm just going to dump it in. Then pumpkin just pairs so well with pecans, so I have 1 cup of chopped pecans in here that I'm just gonna add. And finally, because it's a pumpkin spice granola, I'm gonna add pumpkin seeds, another cup of these guys. For the nuts, I'm using all raw nuts because you're gonna be toasting them in the oven and I don't want them to burn in the process, so make sure to buy raw nuts. Alright, now I'm just gonna mix everything together, making sure all the nuts and the oats are nice and coated. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. I'm getting so excited about all my pumpkin spice food that I'm gonna have. Okay. This looks good, so now I'm just gonna add it onto a baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and then I'm gonna stick it into my preheated oven at 350 degrees, just so it bakes evenly. Just spread it out in a nice thin layer. Now I'm just gonna pop this into my preheated oven at 350 degrees and bake it for 25 to 30 minutes until the granola is nice and golden brown and your house is gonna smell so good. And my granola is done. Oh my gosh. I wish you guys can smell this. It smells so good. Okay, but let me just show you. It's nice and crunchy at the bottom. You may feel like the oats are a little bit moist still, but don't worry. As it cools, it'll continue to dry out and it'll crisp up to that crunchy, delicious, sweet, nutty granola pumpkin spice that you're expecting. I'm just gonna let it cool for about 10 to 15 minutes and then we're gonna move on to our next recipe. So for the granola here, at this point, if you wanna add dried fruits like dried cranberries, dried cherries, or even raisins, or even crystallized ginger, which would be really good in this, you would do that now just to kind of incorporate everything together. But I like it plain. I'm just gonna leave it like this. And what I like to do with my granola is actually add it to some yogurt or just enjoy it with some plain fruit and milk. It's perfect this way. Oh, and as it cools down, you can hear the pumpkin seeds kind of pop. I wish I can show it to you guys. All right, well now that it's cooled down a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a try. I didn't make it too sweet at all. That's my personal preference. If you want it a little sweeter, you can add half a cup of maple syrup, and you're just gonna have to bake it a little longer because it has more liquid. But this is super duper delicious. All right guys, now I'm gonna move on and show you how to make a pumpkin spice yogurt bowl. All right, so moving on to our second recipe. I actually have only seen one brand sell pumpkin spice yogurt, and it's called Noosa, but you know, why not just make our own? Just to make it a little flexible. Okay, so here I have 1 cup of Greek yogurt. I'm using plain here, but you can certainly use vanilla yogurt if you want that added sweetness already. I like to control the sweetness in my yogurt, so that's what I'm gonna do. So here I'm adding 1 cup of Greek yogurt to my bowl. It might get a little messy here. Then I'm gonna add in about 1 tablespoon of pumpkin puree to really infuse it with that pumpkin flavor. Now, pumpkin puree has its own natural sweetness, but it's not super sweet. So I'm gonna add in about 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. A little more, a little less, depending on how sweet you want it. And then finally, half a teaspoon of pumpkin spice. Now I'll give it a good mix. Mix, mix, mix. You can do this in a separate bowl and then put it in the bowl that you're gonna eat in, or just throw it all in one bowl and then enjoy it as is. Extra flavor. I love seeing how all the swirls come together and all the colors. It's so pretty. Just mix it really well. Perfect. And that's your pumpkin spice yogurt. I'm just gonna clean up the bowl a little bit real quick. Okay, so I've cleaned up my bowl on the sides to make it look nice. Food is all about presentation. So now I'm gonna add in my toppings. Here I have our pumpkin spice granola, double dose of pumpkin spice here, and I'm just gonna sprinkle some on. I like making fun designs with my yogurt bowls, so I'm just gonna do kind of like a half moon shape right here, because you want to see the layers of all the food. That looks nice. Okay, and then I have some raspberries. I think pumpkin spice and raspberries really just go so well together. It's a really great pairing. And then I'm just gonna kind of scatter them around on top of the granola. I'll put a few in the center here, but I really want to show off the pumpkin spice yogurt because that's the star. And I think that looks good. Ta-da! Here is our pumpkin spice yogurt bowl with pumpkin spice granola and raspberries. Shall we give this a try? Got a little bit of everything. I got my granola for the crunch, the raspberry for a burst of fruitiness, and our pumpkin spice yogurt. Oh man, this right here is gonna be my go-to breakfast for the next month. Holy moly. So the pumpkin spice yogurt has a little bit of a tang from it, from the yogurt, but it also has those warm spices, and I could really taste the cinnamon, the nutmeg, and cloves. And then the pumpkin just kind of rounds it out a lot. Oh man, and then the raspberries just kind of gives it that burst of sweetness. I can't wait for you guys to try this. Let me know if you try it and if you like it, because this one right here is a winner. All right guys, now moving on to our last one. Because there was like a recent heat wave in LA, it's still kind of warm here, so I thought I want the flavors of pumpkin spice, but yet still something that's not super warm and hearty. So I thought a pumpkin spice smoothie bowl would be perfect. So here's how I make it. All you need is 2/3 of a cup of pumpkin puree. I'm just gonna add it directly into the blender. And then I have 1 banana just to give it some structure. Make sure you're using a ripe banana because that imparts a lot of flavor. Perfect. And then I have 1.5 teaspoons of pumpkin spice, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, 1/3 cup of milk just to thin it out. If you don't want to use milk, you can use yogurt too. I'm using cow's milk here, but you can definitely substitute for soy milk, coconut milk, or almond milk, which is another really great alternative. Dump it in. And finally, to make it nice and cold, 1/2 cup of ice. I'm gonna close the lid and just give it a whirl. Perfect. Okay, our pumpkin spice smoothie is ready. It looks so good, it's nice and thick. So let me go ahead and just pour it into my bowl. Now to top it, I have some chia seeds that I really like adding for additional health benefits, and it also gives it a little bit of like a pop. I'm just gonna, again, decorate it on the side of my bowl. Just sprinkle it in. I'm using about 1 tablespoon here. And then I have some pecans that I'll just sprinkle over on top. Just anywhere random is fine. Get it into the main bowl. This will add a really nice crunch as well. I feel like pumpkin and pecans are just like the perfect pair. And then another seasonal fruit that I love to pair with pumpkins are figs. Here I'm using brown figs and they're just so sweet, and I think they're gonna be really good for this. I left the stems on them because I think it adds so much character into the bowl. And I think another one right there. Perfect. And there you have it, our beautiful pumpkin spice smoothie bowl with figs, chia seeds, and pecans. All right, now you guys know I have to dig in, so let's give it a try. That is good. It's almost like, it's very hearty and the flavors are very warm, but yet the coldness of the smoothie is really refreshing at the same time. This is such a good like afternoon snack and super healthy too. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Last week, I asked you guys what you thought of the new format, and thank you so much for all of your feedback. We really took all of your feedback into consideration and made necessary improvements. And you know, I'm still experimenting in this kitchen and trying to learn the best angles and lighting and all that stuff. So I really appreciate you guys kind of hanging in there with me until we figure it all out. I hope this episode was a big improvement, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Be sure to share this with your friends and let me know what you guys are most excited for in the fall. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!